Hello and welcome to SBK Unplugged, Sheldon Bosley Knight's land and property podcast. My name is Kate Gould and I'm the host of the show. Today I am in the studio with our Associate Director and Head of Planning and Architecture, Natasha Blackmore da Silva, our auctioneer, Jessica Lewis, and our graphic designer, Alex Jackson. Welcome to you all. Before we start, I'd like to say a big thank you again to Mill Street for hosting us in their studio. Thank you very much. So we are here today to talk about careers and with young people up and down the country who will be opening their envelopes in for A-level and GCSE results, and hopefully getting the results that they need. But particularly for those who are doing A-levels, some of them may not be wanting to go to university. And maybe thinking, what can I do without a degree? Are there any jobs and careers? What should I be doing? And so I thought I'd get you here today because, Alex and Jess, I know that you didn't go to university, but you have come to SBK and you're forging very nice careers. And I just wanted to highlight that you can come to a company like Sheldon Bosley Knight. We're not just an estate agent, but we do auctions, we do planning and architecture. We have a load of different departments, commercial, block management, land, new homes, as well as the back office departments like marketing, which we're both part, and finance and IT and things. So Jess, tell me about how you came to SBK and chose auctions. It's a bit of a niche career.
It is, absolutely. So yeah, how I came into property before this, I actually started in finance and mortgages. So a bit of a change. I did that for 4 years as an apprenticeship. So I left school, did college and went straight into an apprenticeship as finance and mortgaging. And then I did that and it was great. I loved it, but I wanted to see the properties. So I was sort of in the background doing financing and I thought, right, I now want to go out and actually meet people and actually see the properties in person. So from there, I had an opportunity to join an estate agency as self-employed. So I did residential sales for 1.5 years before the opportunity for SBK came up. For again, another residential sales job, which I then did in the Stratford sales branch, which was great. I learnt a lot in those 2 years, and then an opportunity in auctions came up. And again, I had the luxury of going to a couple of auctions that we held. Because I know our auction team was quite new and we had some auctions, so I popped along, went and saw it firsthand and really liked the buzz and thought, oh, this looks really interesting and it's new. And then an opportunity within the department came up for the job and I went straight for it. Yeah, so I sat down with Matt, who's the head of department, and he reassured me that he would have full support for me. It is something new, but he would really teach me the steps to get the confidence and learn what I need to do to be able to do the job. And the great thing with auctions is every day is not the same. We look at such a vast different type of property, as well as land and commercial. And for me, I'm all about learning. And then since being in auctions, I've also got my qualifications through Property Mark, who have also been extremely supportive. So I'm now level 3 qualified with them as well. So no, it's been a journey, but it's been good. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And SBK's enabled you to to do your professional qualifications, which is really useful.
Yeah. And again, looking at the land and commercial elements within auctions, having those departments are such great support. Same with Tash with planning as well. The amount of times I just pop upstairs and go, Tash, could you just have a quick look at this? And and that's what you want. It's a nice family feel where you can literally just go to any person within the company in each department and get support, and we all help each other.
Yeah, and your departments sort of interlink quite a lot, don't they, with sales, lettings and new homes, land as well.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
we've got a few on at the moment actually where it started with Jess in sales, came to us in planning and potentially going back to you again later. So, but it's quite useful having all of those different departments and services in-house.
Yeah.
You learn a lot more than I went to uni and got a degree, but you learn a lot more on the job because you're not just learning your department, you get to learn a little bit of everybody else's as well, which I think makes you a lot more rounded professionally.
Yeah, it does, absolutely.
Yeah. And Alex, you didn't do university route either, but how was it for you at school? Did you know that you wanted to be a designer when you left, or what was your
I knew I wanted to do something along the lines of creative-esque sort of career, because that's in school, throughout school really, that's what I what I succeeded in really wasn't so much the academic stuff like maths, science. I wasn't so much into that sort of stuff. So I knew I wanted to do something creative based, but I didn't know exactly what, because I didn't think there were many careers in it really, to be honest. It's a bit, thought it was a bit too niche. And so when I went into college, I did art and design, which covered general art, drawing, painting. There's ceramics, photography, as well as graphic design. And it's the graphic design side of it that I really enjoyed and thought I'll take this further. And I did another course that was solely graphic design in Stratford, and that's when I sort of figured I'll stick with this. I can actually see a job in graphic design now and have a path, can see where I can go with it, and it's something I felt like I had a bit of strength in, so I thought I might as well do something I enjoy.
But SBK isn't your first job, is it? You came to us from elsewhere. So what were you doing? What was the company that you did?
When I left college, I went straight into an apprenticeship in Birmingham, which is a print company, but also did graphic design for the smaller sized companies within the local area. And that's where I started off learning the fundamentals of working in an office, doing the designs. That's where I learned the basics of printing and like marketing, social media, stuff like that. And when that ended, I then moved on to do a job in an actual design agency, and that covered a wide range of much larger companies. So that also made me learn a lot more, because it offered me training in video editing, which is what I do a lot of now. So that was a good place to progress. And after that, believe it or not, nightclub. Nice. Yeah, a bit more weird, but it has to be done. And I was there for a couple of years and enjoyed that for a while, but I felt like I needed something more professional, more professional company to work for to really progress.
Yeah.
There wasn't much of a progressional job there really. It's sort of the same thing. So I just wanted to do something a lot more professional, which is where I am now.
So you went from nightclubs to land and property.
Yeah, exactly. quite a change up, but I definitely enjoy it a lot more.
But you're getting to know about the land and property sector, whilst also, progressing and learning a bit about, and sort of showing us as well the video editing. I mean, I know you do the podcast, but you also do a lot of video editing for you guys as well, don't you? So another way that we all kind of work together. But did you ever think you might work for a land and property agency when you were at school?
I wasn't expecting it at all, but it's a welcome change. I'm happy I found a place to work.
But learning on the job is really important, and I know that you've found that as well. And also you as well, Tasha. I know that you didn't go to university, but you've been helped by SBK to gain your professional qualifications, and now you're mentoring your team, who are coming up through the ranks. So career progression important for you as well?
Yes, it definitely. I mean, when I went to university, it was, about 15 years ago, I already had a bit of an interest in planning. I'd grown up pretty much in a planning department back down in Devon. My granddad was very connected to the planning team there. He was a councillor. So I was interested in planning, but there wasn't very many degrees available at university at the time. And even the ones that they had weren't accredited with the Royal Town Planning Institute. When I was looking at what to do at uni, I thought I'll do something that I enjoy, that I like, and I picked geography, partly because I enjoyed it, but partly because it has a lot of transferable skills that I knew whatever career I went into in the future, they'd be really helpful, really useful, and it would just give me sort of a good basis to work from. And I did have a couple of planning modules as part of that, which continued to sort of pique that interest. Did a master's in geopolitics and security, which has absolutely nothing to do with what I do now, but again, it was just something I found very interesting, and there were some transferable skills, especially with GIS and mapping, which I do use. And finished my degree. Didn't have a job initially. I just wanted to sort of get that all finished and then start looking for somewhere. And about a week or so later, I had a phone call from a recruitment agent saying, we sent you your CV. This is a recruitment agent I didn't know, by the way. I had no idea who they were when I had this voicemail on my phone. And saying, we sent your CV. We saw it on a website. We sent your CV to a company called Sheldon Bosley, obviously SBK as was. And they're really interested in you for this assistant planner role. And I said, they are aware I have no qualifications in planning. I've just done geography and I did my dissertation on planning, sustainable planning. And they said, oh yeah, no, they're fully aware that you have no qualifications, but they're starting a new planning team. They're looking for somebody to support them and sort of learn as they go. Are you interested? And I said, well, why not? It's always something that I've liked. Did a telephone interview with Dan Jackson, our director, who was the head of department at the time. He seemed to like me and he said, can you come up here for an in-person interview? And I went, not really, I don't have a car, I've been in London for 4 years. And he went, well, where can you get to? I said, I could probably get to Bristol. And he went, great, there's a services just outside Bristol, come there, have an in-person interview with us. So the next day I came up, and by the time I'd made it back home, I'd had a phone call saying, you've got the job, when can you start? They helped me find a house as well, because I obviously didn't live up here, I was moving up here, and they helped me find a house, live, and I lived there for 5 years.
I mean, we're an estate agency.
Exactly, yeah, they had loads available, and they helped me find one. I lived there for 5 years until I ended up buying somewhere, and so that was helped me sort of settle in, sort of socially and everything like that first. And then when I got there, very quickly they said, look, this is the path with the RTPI, Royal Town Planning Institute, this is where we would like to see you go, and we'll support you through that, whichever route you take. Because I didn't have a planning degree, I had to work on what they call they go down the experience route instead. So I had to do 3 years of working on the job to get my associate, which I guess is sort of a part 1, if you will. And I had to provide a competency statement, experience statement. I basically had to prove that I understood loads of different types of applications, that I could demonstrate certain competencies, that I could advise clients, liaise with case officers, all the things you do day to day. So I had 3 years, and then I did my associate, and once I passed that, it was a further 2 years, and then I went for my fully chartered, which I got back in early 2020. And like I said, SBK supported me through that, not just through paying my subscriptions and my application fees, but also with my continual professional development. They paid for me to do day conferences, go to trainings, even just helping with expenses of getting to different places if I had to go down to London for the day to do something, and really just giving me the time to get all that experience and to get all of that knowledge so that I could do the next part. And then obviously once I became fully chartered, I looked to doing my RICS, which they supported me through as well. I'm actually just, hopefully, fingers crossed, about to finish that this year.
Oh, amazing.
And then through that, I was homegrown, if you will, within the Sheldon Bosley Knight team. And when the opportunity came up to run the department, they'd had, at that point, I think 7 years of seeing me grow and progress with my career, and the opportunity came up and they said, instead of getting somebody sort of out of the company in, do you want to step up into the role of actually heading the department and running the team? And then I ended up building my own team from scratch. I've got sort of a couple of architects and technicians, and recently hired a couple of sort of graduate planners, assistant planners, who come from a similar background to me. They've either done a degree or they've not done planning before and are learning on the job, and will go down a similar route to that what I've done, which is the experience route. So they'll learn and do their qualifications in-house. And the great thing about working with SBK is the fact that we actually do offer that. A lot of companies, and I did apply for other jobs before I came here, they want you to have experience, or they want you to have a degree or a qualification initially, and you can't get your foot in the door if you haven't already had your foot in the door somewhere else. Whereas Sheldon Bosley is quite happy to, Sheldon Bosley Knight, is quite happy to take a chance on you and let you learn and work in-house and do your qualifications as you go. I don't know any other company that would have probably taken a chance on a 22-year-old to work in a planning department with no official planning experience. And obviously in the last 10 years, I've gone from assistant planner to chartered planner, assistant manager, and now head of department and associate director. And in 10 years, that's quite a change.
Yeah. And I mean, there is a sort of expectation from society that most young people will go to university, but for many, it's just they don't want to, for a variety, or it's not for them for a variety of reasons. So for us, it's great because we can offer so many different avenues.
I also think when you leave school or college, there's a lot of pressure of knowing what you want to do as well. And I think the big message is don't be scared of trying new things, especially for me, doing finance and mortgaging. So then residential sales, now auctioneering, I've changed. but with a lot of direction and support. But I think just don't be scared of trying new things, because no one knows what they want to do. I don't think when they leave, it's that pressure of, oh my God, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And until you start trying new things and actually start learning on the job, then you'll have a good feel if that's right for you or not. So and that's why SBK is so good, because I did residential sales and then I thought, oh, actually I could try auctioning now, because it's all in-house, so we all support each other.
And also, I mean, I know that Tasha, you've had several people come to you on work experience, and we as a company do offer that. And again, that's giving people an idea, young people, of what we offer, you know, big multidiscipline business and all the different departments. And Tasha, you've been really proactive on that. You've had several, haven't you, come in?
We have at least 2 a year. And they're from a mixture of backgrounds, actually. Sometimes we will have people who are already at university, they've already chosen architecture or planning, and they're at university and they're just looking to do something in their summer to get a bit of hands-on experience, but also in a bit of a change to when I was at university, where there wasn't very many degrees. There's now quite a few planning and architecture degrees around, and having a degree is not the be all and end all. You need to have some experience. You need something to set you apart, and doing work experience during that time really helps. And we also have quite a few people who are sort of 16, 17, they're doing careers, they're not sure what they want to do yet, and they'll come and spend a week with us. Either they have an idea that they want to go somewhere down the planning architecture route, and they'll spend the whole week with us. We've had one recently who was really interested in architecture but had never used the software. He spent a week doing tutorials as well as learning on a specific project and coming out on site visits with us. And by the end of it, he'd actually, in a week, learnt pretty quickly how to do a lot of the drawing work. And he's got now a good basis that when he does go to university, he already knows some of the software and some of the things that he'll be doing. So that might put him a bit further ahead than other people. But sometimes what we do is we have people who know I like property, a bit like you, I'm interested in that. I don't know within that where I want to go, so we'll have people who spend a day with us, spend a day with you, or in sales, and they'll sort of have over a week they'll be in 5-6 departments, and they get a good range of everything, see how we all interlink. And I think that really helps them either decide, right, I do now know I want to go to university and do this, or they go, actually, university is not for me, but I know I can go down the apprenticeship route, or I know I can just get an internship and start working and go from there. And part of the reason I started doing the work experience originally is we went to a couple of careers events.
Yes, I was going to say.
We had a few people come up to us who specifically said, can I have your email address? I'm really interested in architecture. I'd love to come and spend some time with your department. And it's not something we as a department, not since I'd taken over, had done before. And we got everything organised and said, yes, let's do this, had them in. And it was absolutely fantastic to have them for the week. And as soon as we had one and it got put up on social media and things like that, we started getting a lot more calls of people going on, but I'm really interested in this. I actually had one person who I was upstairs and there was a call downstairs from sales, and they said, oh, there's someone here to see you. I said, oh, I've not got any meetings, but I'll come down and see. And this guy had walked in downstairs. He was his second year at university, and he basically came in with his CV and said, I'm doing a degree at university, I really want some hands-on experience, here's my CV, do you have a place for me? And I was just so impressed that he had that sort of confidence to come in and basically with nothing else other than this piece of paper and say, look, I really want, can you find somewhere for me, even if just for a week? I really want that. And he came in last year, spent a week with us, taught us some things as well, because obviously technology is continuously changing. So some of the things he'd learned at university, some of the software, he was coming to us and going, oh yeah, well I use this one, this is new, and this can do the same thing yours can do, but it's really interesting. And he taught us some bits and pieces. We taught him some bits and pieces. He's now finished his degree. He got a first, so that's
amazing.
Not all just because first he worked very hard, but I think it helped, and managed to get a job straight out of that. And he's even been back in contact to say thank you and just to kind of keep that relationship going. And you never know, in a few years' time, when he's done his part 2 and part 3 and fully qualified as an architect, he
may running the team.
He may come back to us. And, he may be running the team in the future. We don't know. But it's nice to keep those connections as well, and you get to see these people who come to you at 16, 17 at a careers fair and see how they grow and change. And some of them do go to university, and some of them decide that's not for me. But there's so many options, especially with, from my perspective, the Royal Town Planning Institute. rather than just having accredited degrees, they do have apprenticeship schemes, they do have experience-led schemes where even if you've done no qualifications related to planning before, you can just learn on the job, and you can do it in different parts as you go, and you just break it down and do sections instead.
And I know that we've spoken before as well about how a lot of people, if they think, oh, I'm going to be a planner, it might be at a local authority or at a specific consultancy, but actually there are companies such as ours which can offer them a really good career in planning, but not at the sort of traditional places.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, I went to a careers event, and it was one of those, they could only ask you yes/no questions, and from that they had to try to work out what your job was. And most of them managed to, from my answers, narrow it down to architect. But I was surprised by how many people knew what architect was but didn't know what town planner was. They'd become so synonymous that they didn't realise it was a completely separate job. I mean, I know a lot of people who do a bit of both, and that's absolutely fine, but I don't think they realise that's actually a career choice. And that's one of my things going forward, is to really get people to realise that yes, you can go to universities to do it, you can do an apprenticeship, but there is actually a job there that some people don't even know exists.
I guess it's a bit like being an auctioneer. It's a very niche thing, and it's not just wielding the gavel, is it, and shouting "sold" to the the bidder over there. I mean, it's much more involved than that, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. You know, we deal with a vast majority of clients in different circumstances, and because we deal with lots of different types of lots, so it's not just property, it's land and commercial. That's why it's also different. And we're there to support our clients and also support each other within the company as well. You know, if you've got a client that you know of, we can support them with this, and same if they want to get planning advice, we pass it back to you. But no, it's not all just wielding the gavel at the auction, even though that's the fun part. Absolutely not, no. But we're here to support, and this is why it's really encouraging to get new people into auctioneering, especially females, because there aren't many women auctioneers, so it would be nice to get a few more on board. Sure.
But Matt has got two of you.
He has.
So you and Sammy,
he's adopted too.
Yeah. So that's
absolutely,
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, you know, all of you are doing, you know, there are so many different facets to your jobs that it's no 2 days the same. And I know for you, Alex, because we're obviously in the same department. You know, 1 minute you might be doing some brand guidelines, or next minute you might be editing podcasts like this. So you know.
Not looking forward to editing this one to myself talk. Like you said, it's very different each day, working on brochures, booklets, even logos sometimes for certain developments, not for new builds. And then it was wide range really. It's more of a range I was even expecting, because I was expecting it just to be booklets, brochures, posters, but it's a lot more range than I was expecting. I feel like with going to universities, obviously it's an option for graphic design, you can do it in uni, but I feel like it's more experience being more important.
Learning on the job.
Exactly, because you need to know what it's like in the actual office. It's more experience they're looking for. So obviously going to uni helps, you learn stuff that you wouldn't learn usually, but you also don't get the experience of the actual job itself, which I feel like is more important a lot of the time.
And also learning about the different departments that you're working for. So all the brochures and the flyers and the logos and things. But you can speak to the people in the teams rather than maybe at a consultancy where you're, you know, they're a bit more removed. So
you just don't have to wing it so much. You can actually ask more questions because it's part of your company. Just send an email.
Yeah. So well, thank you so much for all of you for coming in. It's been really enlightening. And for any of you out there who are thinking about what you do next, talk to us. You know, whether you want to be in finance or IT, marketing, planning, auctions, sales, whatever, send us a CV or just give one of us a call, and you know, we'll be more than happy to help. We've got a variety of career options available, so just get in touch, and you never know where it might lead you. So thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.